Next up at UFC 316, we have the main event of the evening. We have Merab Dvalishvili taking on Sean Sideshow Bob O'Malley. Merab Dvalishvili 19-4 in his career. He is 5-0 in his last 5, and that's because he is on a 12-fight win streak. He's taking on Sean O'Malley, 18-2 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. He's coming off that title loss to Merab back at Noche UFC. He hasn't fought since then. We all know who Merab is, nonstop chain wrestler. The striking is okay, but the cardio is absolutely insane. He has weaponized his cardio so much that he could just be good at everything and win not only the world championship, but be one of the best fighters to walk planet Earth. He averages an insane almost 6 takedowns per 15 minutes. His last loss was all the way back to 2018. The gas tank is insane. The willingness to stick to a game plan is insane. This guy moves forward at all costs, gets in your face, shoots takedowns over and over and over and over. If you lose the first round, doesn't matter. Lose the second round, doesn't matter. This guy continues to run forward and work his ass off. He's taking on Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley is a good striker. He's got very real power, great accuracy. He's very athletic. He does whatever he wants to do in the striking. He is way more athletic than you would give him credit for, and we know he can be a dog. While we didn't see it in the last fight or in their first fight, we did see it when he fought Piotr Jan. That was an absolute back-and-forth dogfight, and Sean O'Malley, while I don't think he won that fight, at least showed us he is capable of going strike for strike and dogging out a win. This is a rematch. We all saw the first fight. And the thing that I said in the Quick Picks video is that I feel like there's a little bit of the Mandela effect going on in their first fight. I feel like a lot of people, as time has passed, about 7-8 months now, have convinced themselves that that first fight was super close. And Sean was, he was right. The reality is there's not a single person on this planet that was waiting for the decision because they thought it could go to Sean O'Malley. It was a very clear one-sided decision for Merab. Sean's own corner was telling him, we're almost done here. That's how bad he was losing. There is a true Mandela effect here where people have convinced themselves that that first fight was close. Yeah, maybe he had some moments of success. It was a 25-minute fight. Of course there was some success. And now if I zoom out, and you say, you know what, Ange? You're right. It wasn't that close, but Sean had hip issues. He was going to pull out of the fight. He chose not to. He just talked about that. He said, I wasn't going to fight Merab. I was going to pull out. And then the UFC called me and said, you're fighting at Noche. You're in the sphere. You got the sphere. He couldn't pull out, so he didn't. And he ended up losing that fight. And maybe, you know what, with a 100% intact hip and no issues, no surgery needed, the lateral movement is enough. And he stays out of harm's way. He doesn't get taken down. He lands the strikes he's supposed to land. Maybe. And if you're picking Sean O'Malley, then that's obviously the mindset that you're in. And I can't fault you for that. That is entirely possible. But in my mind, Merab won that first fight very clearly. I think he wins the second fight even more clearly. I think Sean O'Malley got frozen by the idea of somebody coming at him non-stop. He has completely changed his life. He doesn't smoke anymore. He's not drinking. He's hanging out with his family more. None of the bullshit, no social media. His dad is going to be in his corner. I don't necessarily think those are all good things. You kind of got to stick with what got you there. I'm picking Merab. He's a minus 265 favorite. The odds have tightened, but just a tiny bit. I think this fight is even more clear than the first one. Merab's going to be the pick. That's it. Jacob, what do you think?
Yeah, that fight, the Umar fight, obviously that wasn't a domination. It was a close fight. The Sean fight, that was not a domination by any means. Sean clearly won 2 rounds. Merab landed 6 takedowns in 5 rounds, 6 of 15. That's 40%, and that's against the Sean that. Didn't seem like he was all there. Didn't seem like he had the pop in the shots. Was definitely kind of worried about the takedowns, but did a pretty decent job. You're going to see 10 minutes of control from Merab. Hats off to that. That was basically, I think, 7.5, 8 minutes of that was in 2 of the rounds. So you're looking at 2 clear rounds from Merab, 2 clear rounds for Sean. Comes down in the first round, and in my opinion, that's a close fight because that first round is a close round. Sean was landing the strikes. Merab didn't even land a strike until close to the end. Got a couple takedowns, but didn't do anything with them. So you're looking at damage, you're looking at striking. It seemed like Sean won that first round. He won the first round. He wins the third round. He wins the fifth round. That seems like it's a Sean fight. So if you're sitting here telling me it's not a close fight, if you're looking at the fight round by round, that's how they judge fights. That's a close fight because Sean won 2 rounds. There was only one person in that fight that almost finished the fight. That was Sean O'Malley. 5th round, there was one person that was almost finishing that fight. That was Sean O'Malley. That was the worst Sean O'Malley I think I've ever seen. Yet I'm sitting here reflecting on the fight, and he won the 5th round. Almost found a finish. He won the 3rd round on 2 of the judges' scorecards. The 1st round is a very close round where he was winning all his striking exchanges to start the round. In a world where they rematch, I have to imagine that if Merab brings in that same game plan, and it almost seems as if the way he's talking, that he's caught up in this Bilal mindset. Merab loves this attention. He's everywhere. You look at anything, anywhere, Merab loves this shit. He's a very confident guy. What do they say about confidence? What did Vikram say about confidence? Right? The liquor of the fool. Right? Oh. The liquor of the fool. Sometimes you can be in over your head. Now he's starting to talk about, I'm going to knock out Sean O'Malley. We've seen Merab get dropped and dropped and dropped. He's a tough dude, right? Is Merab the most talented fighter in the world? Absolutely not. Is he a hard fucking worker? Is he outworked every single person to the title? Absolutely. Is he the same Merab now that he was in those fights? Nope. He doesn't fight the same. He fights cocky. He fights confident. And there's nothing wrong with that because that's winning him fights. That is swaying the judges in his opinion. I'm not saying that he's not winning these fights because he probably did win against Sean. He probably did win against Umar. But that's not the same Merab. And if Merab doesn't come in with the old Merab style where he's shooting 20, 30, 40 takedowns and trying to bury a guy like Sean O'Malley and tries that same type of game plan, Sean's going to be a little bit more ready this time. He's going to understand, okay, I understand the game plan. Because Merab had a great game plan last time. Sean was ready. I promise you, Sean was training the entire time for all the pressure, all the blitzing. He's going to push me against the fence. I guarantee 95% of their training was training take down the fence along the fence. And all of a sudden, we get in that fight. And Merab's just dancing around behind the black line, inviting Sean to him. And Sean, you could tell, was like, what is going on here? I thought he was going to bring the pressure. What do I do? Do I stand my ground? Do I walk into it? And eventually he started walking into the shots because then Merab was able to level change with an open, wide canvas. And instead of trying to, Sean defending takedowns on the fence, now there was no fence for Sean to take down. So hats off to Merab in that game plan. But you can't, it's just like an NBA playoff series. Every single game is separate. Every single game is so much different than the game before. You cannot copy and paste. Every time people rematch, it's pretty much almost very, very different. And if he does not come in with a 20, 30, 40 takedown attempt and just try to bury Sean O'Malley, he's going to get fucking caught. Sean O'Malley was my lock of the week against Merab previously. I would be a fucking pussy-ass bitch if I flipped on it now because that was the worst Sean O'Malley I've ever seen, and he arguably almost stole that fucking fight by winning the first round, which would have won him the fight. Very close first round. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility of Sean O'Malley winning this decision. Stick and move. Merab's a tough guy, right? I got to go Sean O'Malley here because he was fucking absolutely terrible. Won 2 rounds clearly, almost found a finish, and the first round was very, very close. And Merab is, I think, the cockiness and overconfidence is going to be his downfall. He hasn't been dominating people the way he's been dominating people in the past, and even then he was just kind of unnecessarily shooting just over and over. Sean O'Malley's going to win this fight.
Do you you believe the hip injury and all that bullshit, or you don't care? It doesn't even matter.
I've never even thought about that once.
Okay. And that was a genuine question because I do see a lot of people being like, Sean's going to win this one. He's healthy now. Where you didn't mention that at all. That's why I
didn't mention all the lights and this and that and whatever. And
what was the light thing? I saw the comments. What is that?
They weren't allowed to go. They never saw the Noche arena or anything before they made the walk, and it's like it just was way more different than they thought that was going to be or something. I don't
Well,
know.
that's for both fucking fighters. That's not just for
Well,
one
it's
fighter.
different when you're a striker.
Oh, yeah, yes. Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna argue because I picked Sean O'Malley in the first fight. I'm not positive. I'm almost positive, I thought I picked him in the first fight, and I said it's gonna be kind of like the Aljo fight. Merab is a little chinny. We saw him get dropped against Cejudo. We saw Marlon Moraes almost. The fact that Marlon Moraes didn't finish Merab was miracle. So I'm pretty sure I picked Sean O'Malley in the first fight. But once I saw it and Sean seemed frozen by the moment, I feel like we might get more of the same. And I don't think he's frozen by the moment of the popularity and the fame and all that. That's not freezing him. I think the idea in his head that somebody is going to shoot on me 1,000,000 times over, and there's all of this pressure and the cardio. Is my cardio there? Am I ready? Am I not? I feel like that might freeze him in the moment. Jacob's obviously on the other side. This is a pretty good fight. I
mean, Merab typically shoots 1,000,000 takedowns, and he was waiting around for the takedowns that never came, and then he was just kind of playing catch up, and he still won 2 of the last 3 rounds and almost found a finish. So
where I agree with you is he definitely had Merab in some trouble, and there was no trouble on the other side. And Merab's not dangerous at all. Merab wins this fight by a decision, or Sean can win multiple different ways. I agree with all of those statements. I just think the nonstop Merab pressure, Merab's ability
But he's not doing that anymore.
He did it against Umar.
No, he didn't.
The last 3 rounds, that's exactly what he did.
No, he didn't.
No, he lost the first 2 rounds because he just was not the better
He hasn't been nonstop Merab in a while. Not since the Aldo fight, probably.
Well, Merab is a guy that has overcome adversity several times over. In that Umar fight, he showed us he had this like insane staph infection or some disgusting shit going on with his shit. In this fight, he probably has a pinky toe thing. Do you care about the pinky toe thing at all?
I don't give a fuck.
Exactly. And you're on the other side.
I respect Merab too, because I've said it in my video as well. It's much easier to just be talented and work kind of hard and become something. But Merab is not. There's not an ounce of talent
in
Merab.
He doesn't hit hard.
He has just fucking outworked everyone to be a champion and defended his belt as well against some really high level people. So it's always hats off to Merab. I'm not being disrespectful for Merab, but.
Sean's the better athlete. 100 out of 100 times, Sean is the better athlete. That dude, what's funny is Sean is also not very physically imposing, but he's fast, he's clean, he's accurate. This is actually a good rematch, and this is a fight that I'm coming around to because at first I was like, I don't think Sean O'Malley has done enough. Like, that first fight wasn't very close. He doesn't have a win since then. Like, they're only running this back because there's nobody else. But the closer we get to this fight, I'm like, you know what? I will watch this again. This isn't an interesting fight, to say the least. Sean was the world champion. He did almost finish Merab. I don't think those scorecards should have been very close, but he did have some success there. So I'm looking forward to this. I think it's a very good fight. I'm on the Merab side. Jacob's on the Sean O'Malley side.
Jimmy the Genie 999 says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. There is nobody in the world that will flip on their own picks more than me, and I've made thousands and thousands of dollars of being on somebody wholeheartedly and then flipping against them and betting them because of the matchup. So this is, I just don't think this is one of those situations. I like Sean in this one.
Yeah, and I appreciate you very much, Jimmy, for the $10 super chat. I am on the Merab side. Jacob's on the Sean O'Malley side. If you need a tiebreaker, we have a few of them. We have Bet Sam giving you his picks and bets. We have Artem giving you his picks and bets. And then we have an artificial intelligence, a robot, picking fights based solely off of historical information. You can check all that out right now at WeWantPicks.com. Once you become a premium member, make sure you have the app installed, because once you have the app installed, you will get push notifications. You don't need the app. You can access everything that we offer through any mobile browser you can think of, on a desktop, on a phone, on a tablet. It all works. It all adjusts. It all does what it's supposed to do. But if you have an iPhone and you want to download the app, you can. Just search We Want Picks. It is entirely 100% free. We also have several tools. People like to focus on the picks and the bets and talk about the safety parlay being the beacon of stability. But we do have tools as well that will help you find your own picks and bets. One of those tools is the Fight Simulator. We have another tool called the Tape Index. It indexes fights for you. You find a fighter, You see their full fight history. You click a little red play button, the fight pops up. We have a DraftKings optimizer that will build DraftKings fantasy lineups for you. We have a data analyzer that has every imaginable data point for every single fighter from every single fight they've had. And then you can stack that data. You can create filters, and you can tell whatever story you need to tell. Then go to your favorite sports book and place your bets. We have a line movement tracker that gives you opening odds, current odds, win probability, and line movement for every fighter and every card. We have a prop hunter, which is a curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. And then we have a lot of other people doing this, not just Jacob and I. $10 super chat from Ripside2. Merab by WrestlePluck. That's supposed to say WrestleFuck, and I imagine YouTube didn't let him say WrestleFuck. So I appreciate you for the $10 super chat, and I am on that side. Jacob, any words for the people before we shut this down so I could take the longest piss I've ever taken in my life?
Yeah, like the stream if you haven't already on your way out. Make sure you leave a comment wishing Angelo happy birthday. If you're watching this tomorrow, Wednesday, it is his birthday. And if you're watching this Thursday, Friday, or early Saturday, don't wish him happy birthday because it's already passed.
Too late.
So,
yeah, fuck it.
But that's all. And I'm probably going to live stream Saturday because Angelo doesn't like to hang out with his friends anymore. So I'm going to probably live stream Saturday.
I would love nothing more than to be home hanging out with my friends.
Thursday night, game 1. Pacers taking game 1's Pacers in 5. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Shut it down.
All right. Goodbye. Thanks, everybody.